We're wired for survival. No surprise there, right? So what if your wiring thinks your manifestation ideas are dangerous? You see, you can't create a future your body doesn't feel safe to own. Could this be why so many affirmations and manifesting techniques fall flat? Not because you're not worthy, not because you're not aligned, but because your nervous system is doing its job, keeping you safe. Now you have a conflict. Your mind strongly desires change of some kind, but your most primal instinct, survival, wants you and everything around you to stay the same. In the next few minutes, I'll show you not only the science behind why this is true, but also how you can work around it so that your manifesting efforts finally start to kick in. By the way, before we dive in, if you want to discover how effortless manifesting really works, I've put a link at the top of the description, or just scan the QR code on screen now to see my free Effortless Money Manifesting Masterclass. This is often how the problem shows itself. Think about the last time you set a big goal. You felt inspired, maybe unstoppable. I remember feeling that way after I did Tony Robbins' Mastery University program back in 1999. I was going to change the world, baby. But somehow life got in the way. I blamed circumstances, of course. I mean, that's an easy cop-out, right? Well, that is until someone points out that there are always people with far trickier circumstances than yours, and somehow they found a way through. They are changing the world. But you missed the opportunity. You underpriced yourself. You found yourself getting ready instead of doing. We call that self-sabotage, but it isn't sabotage at all. It's your biology whispering that future doesn't feel survivable yet. Perhaps this is why we love heroes, Indiana Jones, James Bond and the like. We love those characters because they're somehow able to override the sense of danger most of us know we'd never get past. But of course, they're fictional. Real people don't behave like that, so you, being a real person, won't, will you? Our survival instinct is always telling us to stay safe. Have you ever noticed that when you plan something even as simple as, say, a family picnic, your mind defaults to the worst-case scenario? What if it rains? What if the car breaks down? Hardly James Bond League, but the point is we're wired to think that way. It's not negativity. Once again, it's survival. Remember, we were tribal. If the head hunter didn't factor in the weather or the fact that the ground may have become a swamp, people could have died on his watch. We need to think of the worst-case scenario. Here's the plain and simple science. Your body is not designed to manifest dreams. It's designed to survive today. The autonomic nervous system, the amygdala, insula, anterior cingulate, all work together, scans for threat 24/7. If the future you're imagining feels too risky, socially, financially, even emotionally, it triggers stress chemistry. Cortisol rises, your heart rate goes up, attention narrows, and your prefrontal cortex, the part that imagines and plans, dims its activity. That's why bold vision fades into hesitation. Your body is saying, better the familiar than the dangerous unknown. We think it's self-sabotage. Some people even seek psychological help to break the pattern, but the problem may not be psychological at all. It's biochemical. Here's what that looks like in day-to-day life. You miss the email. You don't follow through. You keep polishing instead of publishing. From the outside, it looks like sabotage, and you may well self-diagnose it as that. But what's really happening is self-protection. Your physiology has a comfort corridor, and when you step outside it, everything in you wants to pull back. Not because you're lazy, because your body hasn't learned yet that the bigger future is safe. And this is where effortless manifesting comes in, because the secret is not pushing harder. The secret is working with your biology. Effortless manifesting means allowing the intelligence of life, which is already within you, to guide you forward in steps your body can relax into. When you're quiet enough to notice, you'll see the wisdom in how your system paces growth. It's not resistance, it's calibration. And once you learn to stop fighting it and instead cooperate with it, growth feels natural, like water finding its way downhill. Here's a quick example from my own life. A few years ago, I wanted some money quickly. Like in 72 hours. I didn't know if I could manifest it, but I was prepared to try. At the start, I literally had no idea how I was going to do that. I've told the story of how the idea came to me in another video. I'll put that up on the screen and a link to it in the description if you want to watch it later. But I did know what would not have been acceptable. I wouldn't have sold something I personally didn't like, for instance. That goes against my morals. I wouldn't have lied or cheated in any way to get the money. I wouldn't have gambled either, which includes not buying a lottery ticket. Those things are just not who I am. Of course, my brain didn't go anywhere near those places, but suppose I'd forced it. Suppose I decided that I could have run some kind of confidence trick to get someone to give me money. Even just talking about this is making my stomach tie in knots. I literally hate this kind of behaviour. Not only would it have gone against everything I stand for, but I can guarantee you it wouldn't have worked. It couldn't have worked because my survival instincts wouldn't have allowed it to. In fact, what really happened was that I had one little germ of an idea. It felt exciting, so I started acting on it. And in the back of my mind was that worst case scenario thinking, what if this doesn't work? And the answer was, nothing drastic will happen. I may have spent a few fruitless hours, but even then I'd have learned something, so no biggie. And my brain allowed me to move effortlessly and smoothly from one step to another. The result? Massive success, far more than I'd expected or even needed. Quick reminder, if this resonates, scan the QR code or click the link in the description for my free Effortless Money Manifesting Masterclass, where I show you exactly how to apply all of this in your relationship with money. So, how do you build a future your body will let you keep? Big leaps feel scary because of the thinking that comes with them. Your body reacts to your thinking, and that's the part you can control. Ironically, you do that in 2 effortless steps. First, notice you're thinking scary thoughts. I quit my job in 2013, but I'd been wanting to do that for years before then. I kept thinking I wouldn't have enough money if I quit. Once I realized I didn't have to believe that thought, I quit, which I won't lie, still felt scary, but also very exciting. And within weeks, my career took off like a rocket in ways I couldn't possibly have foreseen or even allowed whilst I was still working. So that's the second step. Notice that you're thinking scary thoughts, and secondly, know that you can simply ignore them like a bad movie on the television you don't want to watch. It's no harder to speak to 3,000 people than 3, for example. But fear of public speaking is said to be the number 1 fear, greater than the fear of death. Yet all it takes is a review of what your thoughts are doing. Expansion, including manifesting, doesn't have to be forced. In fact, it can't be forced. It happens naturally when you stop treating anxious thoughts as truth. We panic when we believe the future is fixed and there's no way home, but that's just more thinking. Life is fluid, always offering fresh ideas. When you see that, the fear of irreversible decisions dissolves because there's always another step available. Fear of rejection is another one, but it's only ancient wiring mixed with anxious thought, because belonging is never at stake. Your worth doesn't rise or fall with other people's opinions. When you see that, sharing becomes simple because you were safe all along. These aren't techniques. They're glimpses of how life already works when you stop forcing and start noticing. So here's my question. What if every time you thought you failed, every time you thought you sabotaged yourself, you were really just keeping yourself alive the best way you knew how? That changes everything. Because now you know you're not broken, you're wise. And all that's left is to trust that wisdom and let it carry you forward one step at a time. The truth is simple. You can't keep a future your body doesn't feel safe to own. But when you work with your biology instead of against it, when you trust the effortless intelligence already within you, the future doesn't need to be forced. It unfolds. If you're ready to step into that shift around money, without pushing, without endless techniques, then scan the QR code or click the link in the description now to join my Effortless Money Manifesting Masterclass. It's free. Once your body feels safe to keep the future, you'll be astonished at how naturally it arrives. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon in another video.